Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Talk to Me, Sis. I am Lise Smith, Connor Tomlinson's mom from Love on the Spectrum, and my gorgeous hostess, Nikki Smith, Tanner's mom. Nikki, you want to say hey?
Hello, everybody. We're so excited about this episode. We think it's going to be a really insightful one and super excited about these three beautiful guests that we have. Lise, do you want to start introducing your guest?
Absolutely. So, we are one of the things that we thought would be great for the episodes were not only to explain kind of Nikki and I and the why behind everything, but also to introduce you to our families. So we intend to do so. And tonight we have some very, very lovely ladies in the studio with us tonight. And I have the pleasure of sitting next to a very gorgeous young lady, inside and out, Anna Tomlinson, the younger sister to Connor Tomlinson. Anna is 23 years old. She graduated from college and she works for a really cool sandwich brand, a pretty fun marketing social media team. And she is very, very talented. So Anna, do you want to say hi?
Hi.
Excited to be here. And then over to the beautiful Smith girls.
This is my oldest daughter, Taylor Owens. Taylor just got married in November, so she's a newlywed. She is married to her husband, Jimmy, and he is a project manager in a construction company. And Taylor is the director of a dance studio. She dances with about 150 girls every week and is doing a fantastic job of that. She's a graduate of Clemson University and all around just a really cool, smart girl. Madeline is my younger daughter. Oh, I forgot to say, Taylor's 28. She's older than Tanner, excuse me. Madeline is my younger daughter. She is the next child in line after Tanner. Madeline is 23. She is also a graduate of Clemson University, and she is in her first year of teaching school. She teaches first grade at Whitehall in Anderson, and she is doing a fantastic job doing hard things because she is strong and she is not a quitter, and we are very proud of her. Good job, Madeline.
Yes. Thank you.
Go, Madeline.
Madeline, for during these last couple years and right now, the one who geographically lives very close to Tanner. So she has taken on the role beautifully, I might add, of being kind of her brother's keeper and sort of mom when I'm not there, and really, really looks out for her brother and does so much for him. So we're very thankful for her gift to him of being so patient and kind with her brother.
Yeah.
So
Thanks for
that's my
answering,
girl.
Mom. Sweet.
Excellent. So, one thing we wanted to say to let you guys, we said this to the guys, we just really want, this is your story. We want honesty. There's no right or wrong answer. We're not fishing for anything. We're going to ask some pretty direct questions, and we really just want as honest of answers you feel comfortable giving. And because one thing that your mom and I have noticed, and Nikki and I have noticed in this process, is we have a lot of parents out there with the younger autistic kids, newly diagnosed or just younger. And we have said this, and I'm going to say it again, it'll be the third time, but I wished I had a Nikki and Lise somewhere in the world to look at, to see what it looks like 20 years down the road. But equally, there are siblings in those families. And I know from a mom's lens, I was always worried about all of my kids, but we want those mothers to hear what you as siblings, how you went on your journey and your experience, and how you feel now. And we really want that to be honest and true for them. And I think it's going to be really helpful for these families.
I do too. I think it's so valuable. And I would have loved to have seen something like this when Tanner was 3 years old, 5 years old, 8 years old. It would have helped me tremendously.
With that, honesty, no right or wrong answers, just be brutally honest with us. We're really here for it. And Nikki, I really loved how your question started us off last night. So do you want to start off?
I will. And I'm just going to throw the question out there, girls. And it doesn't matter who answers, just whoever feels the need or has the first thought, go for it. So we're going to go ahead and start kind of heavy because autism can be kind of heavy. What part of having a special needs sibling was the hardest for you? And honesty is good. Y'all call the ball.
I feel like, oh, yo, you got it, girl. All right, I'll start us. I was below Tanner, so a huge part of my view of autism was the attention was always on him. So a huge part of my like testimony even is that I always kind of felt like second place just because so much attention and energy had to go on him whenever I was young. Like even getting him places and driving him places. And if he was doing something, then mom would just be like, okay, you younger ones, just come with us and do that. Um, so I always, a little bit when I was younger, felt like I was second place to him. Which now that he's like older and has this amazing life and things are easier in a sense, it's kind of like fun. Like I like to follow him around and be in not in second place, but it's just it feels different now. So I think that was the hardest part for me was just feeling a little bit overshadowed by autism in general.
Hannah, what were you going to say, hun?
Yeah, so I was gonna go take a different route, but I totally agree with what you're saying. I mean, I'm younger, not by too much, but I think, Connor being autistic and then my twin brother dealing with ADHD, dealing with all this stuff, there were moments in my life where it was like, oh, Anna's like doing well in school. She's fine. She's good. Like she can handle everything. She's strong. And there are moments where it's like, maybe I wasn't actually okay. And, but I knew like they probably needed a little bit more help than I did, a little more attention than I did. So I kind of just kept like trucking on. And I feel like there are definitely moments where I'm like, maybe I needed someone to just ask me, how are you? So I totally feel what you're saying. I think another thing for me that's like was the hardest. I recently had like, I don't know, it was like a breakdown. I like came into your room and just like was hysterically crying because people are always going to make dumb comments. And a lot of it, I just let like, I don't even pay attention to it about autism because a lot of people are just ignorant and don't understand. But it's people that are either making these comments, not knowing anything, just like thinking it's funny, or they're just ignorant and they don't even mean it. But it's like after a while, it starts to just wear on you. And I think I just broke down because it's like he didn't ask for this. He didn't ask to be born the way he was born. And I think it hurts my heart so deeply that him and literally every other autistic person ever has to deal with people just constantly making comments, making jokes. And we're just told like, oh, it's just a joke. It's not serious. And for some reason, it just hurts me that I can't shield him from literally every single comment like that and shield everyone from like all of the crap in the world. So I think that that's one of the hardest parts for me, honestly.
That's so sweet.
Yeah, going off what Midge said, this is not, I guess, a thing about autism specifically, but it's because of autism more so. I've always felt as the oldest sibling, not a lot of guilt, but maybe a little. I had this weird feeling about my position in our family as the oldest, and Connor's the oldest in y'all's family. So Midge and Anna only know autism as a younger sibling. For me, I did have, it was only 2 years, but I had a little bit of time with my parents, just us. And then as autism was starting to happen and become a thing in our lives when Taylor was getting diagnosed, and then for all the rest of our lives, I was in more of a position of almost like a partnership with my parents, I feel like. And I weirdly have a little bit of guilt about that because I feel like autism affected me the least in a negative way. Because like a big sister is gonna usually take the role of caretaker, second mom to all of her younger siblings, even in a totally typical situation, just because you're the oldest girl. So I don't know. I've always felt a little bit of a just of being aware that I feel like I didn't have it quite as bad as Midge and Matt.
That's so interesting.
I don't know. I just always felt that way.
Wow.
I've never
Yeah,
felt
I
like
wasn't
was being-
expecting that.
I wasn't either. Because, looking at her life from my view, and this is so interesting when you think about like how you see the world from your lens.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like in a lot of ways she had it the worst.
Really?
So, yeah, I do. Because I felt like you had to take care of him. You had to champion him.
Yeah.
And I felt like we put way too much on you, way too young. We expected way too much of you because we were just frazzled trying to keep everything together.
Yeah.
But
I always felt like it was like
I'm
me.
glad you're not that mad about it though.
No, I just felt like it was me, mom, and they were looking to me a lot to help and even like helping then with Midge and Mav more when Tanner needed to be more of your focus. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've always felt like Midge and Mav.
It's so fascinating how the different personalities perceive the situation.
Yeah.
It's so fascinating to me.
I totally feel like I relate to what you're saying, even though I'm younger. Being
It's
the
probably 'cause
oldest and
girl.
only girl,
Yeah.
like I just
Yeah.
feel like I had to step into a role that my brothers were just like autistic, not autistic, just like boys are just immature and women
Right,
just
yeah,
mature
yeah.
earlier. And I feel like I was the one like if the parents weren't home, it's like Anna, you're in charge. And
You're the
that
mom.
felt like an awkward dynamic being younger because he's the
Younger,
older
yeah.
sibling and typically that's
Yes.
the leader. And I feel like there's times I had to take that role and that almost felt wrong. So
Yeah.
I kind of know exactly what you mean.
Maybe
So
that's part of what
with
it is. Because sorry, no, I was
no,
gonna
go
say,
finish.
as the oldest one, like I was gonna take care of everybody anyways, because I'm the oldest. So like it would feel weirder to y'all to have to say to Tanner and Connor, let me help you with this, let me teach you this, whatever. 'Cause
Right.
you're younger. And normally it would be flipped. They'd be teaching and taking care of you. But like that was gonna be my role regardless of what everybody's mental capacity was.
No, but
That's
this
so
is it's kind of
interesting.
Yeah.
this because it's kind of a little bit what Midge said, and then Anna, and actually I know Anna has said this, and so I did a little research and we talked about it with the guys, but there's actually a term called the glass child. And this term is used to describe experience of siblings of children with chronic diseases or disabilities. It includes feelings of being overlooked. And based off of what you all said, and I'm interested, Taylor, and you too, do you feel like you could have been the glass child? Like you were there, but you were being seen through a little bit because your parents were so wrapped up with Tanner or Colin?
Maybe. Yeah, I don't know. You know, one thing in my personal life, I have a lot of really solid friendships and relationships and like other
Adults.
adults, like friends, parents who I've been really tight with my whole life. Like my 3 best friends right now are my 3 best friends from kindergarten. So maybe that's part of why I didn't feel so because I was fulfilled in a lot of other places where, you know, if my parents were giving me a little less attention here and there, I had my best friend's mom was
Yeah.
another.
That makes sense.
Not that they were doing anything wrong, but you know, like, I was getting a lot of validation and love and fulfillment in a lot of other relationships in my life too.
That's
So
so
maybe,
true.
you know, I guess I never thought about that, but that does make a lot of sense.
What about you, Midge?
Do you feel that way?
Um, maybe a little bit, but like I don't have as many great friends as Taylor, but we were always doing stuff. Like we were so busy when we were young too. So
Yeah,
I think
we were a go
and like
household. Yeah.
even though I felt second place a little bit sometimes, like mom and dad were always on it and almost always like had somebody at my games and things like that. And we have a big family, so but I've never heard that term. That's so cool.
It's a
Yeah, me neither. That's
Never
cool.
heard that.
What about you?
What about you?
Yeah, I would say it's not something I think I realized in the moment. Like my brothers struggled in school and that was something that I always just like I pushed myself probably to a point of like perfectionism that wasn't healthy, but I just like they just saw me like, oh, she's so diligent, she gets her work done. And I don't think in that moment I ever realized anything that I was doing was unhealthy or like I dealt with anxiety, OCD, but I don't think I recognized that they were those things until later in my life because I saw my brothers and what they dealt with and I was like, well, I don't deal with that. I'm able to do all these things. I think I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. And then I think one day it all just like dawned on me that I'm like, oh, wait, maybe I'm anxious. Maybe the things I'm doing are OCD. And just because it doesn't look and walk like my brother's doesn't mean that I don't. And it would have been like, you know, probably nice to have some of that support. Not that my parents weren't supportive of me, but I just always felt like, oh, well, my brothers need it more than I do. So I think that's kind of where like I can kind of resonate with that term, but I'm not resentful of like the way my life is. I think it's just, I mean, it's shaped me to be who I am. And I'm like super protective of Connor, especially. So I'm not like bothered by it. But
Well, it's
Anna,
interesting because
you are a
I
rock
have
star.
I have to totally admit that and I was a single mother for quite a bit of time, about 5 years in there with the 4 children. I think inappropriately so leaned on Anna as a rock because I
I did it.
had no spouse in the house to help me. And and she was the one, when I assessed the 4 of them, the only one who really had her shit together.
Yep.
And I was like, don't you crumble on me now because I can't do one more, you know? And I do.
Right.
Together, sister.
Oh, yeah. So I feel like almost I look back with tremendous guilt here, but
too.
it makes me happy that you're almost grateful for the character building.
I mean, I guess I think I'm strong.
You know, but it as a parent, and that's kind of what I want parents to hear is that, you know, I leaned on my child and I don't know that that's just being honest. I don't know that that's
Me too.
appropriate.
Oh,
but I did.
100% honesty. I know I put too much pressure on her. I know I expected too much. I know that I looked to her to almost like for camaraderie because I was married, Mark was here, but honestly, in order for him to provide for everything Tanner needed, had his pharmacy and the farm. He was working all the time. Certain times of the year, he was hardly around, and she stepped into that role. So I totally have that same guilt. Like, what did and when I would get mad at her or impatient, it was just exhaustion or frustration or sadness. And I would yell at her and she didn't deserve it. It was my bad. Totally.
I have a very specific memory. We went, you and me and Midge and Lala, to a conference thing in Columbia of a very famous author at one point. Maybe 10 years ago. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
And I was in college, I know, and Midge was early high school. And I had always known that Midge, I hope you don't mind me sharing this, really struggled when she was young with her relationship with mom because of the way she's saying she felt very overlooked. And she really, really idolized our dad, like just was obsessed with it, just was a daddy's girl through and through. But it makes sense because he's the one who took us to school and spent a lot of time with him, whatever. And like she had voiced to me before that she really, I don't want to say loved dad more than mom, but like, but like she was, dad was her favorite. And I just always remember thinking like, I love my dad too, but like I didn't understand that because that wasn't my experience with them. And we went to that conference, and I don't know what was said there. There was a bunch of different speakers there, but we were sitting in the car after, and Midge just like broke down in tears, and she's not a crier at all. Do you remember this?
Was I there?
Yeah, you were in the car, and Lala was in the front.
Oh, yes.
And Midge said, I just feel so bad because I just used to hate you. And I just want you to know that I don't hate you. I don't hate you. I'm just frustrated and angry. Like, and I was and then I started crying because I remember saying, I don't understand that feeling because I remember saying, I feel like if my mom died, you'd have to put me in the casket with her because I would die. Like, 'cause I just felt so close with her.
Yeah.
But then it's interesting how dynamics go. When I like left for college, Midge and mom then had a chance to connect.
Yeah,
and,
for sure.
And Tanner left, like it gave them a whole new
relationship.
Yeah.
I think for me, it's like a big part of it is just like you get older and you realize like, oh my gosh, like my mom was my age when she's like having Tanner and realizing that she's got this son who's not like this perfect exactly how she imagined, and then she's got another kid, and you just realize like, oh my gosh, like she was just trying her best. It was like
And I feel like everybody feels that way about moms too.
Okay, so Lise, we need to stop it right there and say, young parents, hear what they just said. You get to this age and you realize my mom's just a human. She did her best. She was trying, So no matter what mistakes you make, young parents, they most likely are going to forgive you.
I don't even think it's like a couple teenage years you're going to get through those.
I don't even think it's just like young parents. I think I can't even remember what age this happened, but even it's like family members in your life, your parents, like you realize literally everyone is going through life for the first time, just like you. And you're like, wait, your parents have trauma? Like all this stuff we're talking about, like they had relationships with their parents. Everyone has baggage and like they're learning it too. So it's like, I don't blame or I'm not resentful for any like mistakes that my parents might have made. Because it's just like they're just figuring it out too. So it's weird because when you're a kid, you idolize your parents, you think they don't do anything wrong and they've never done anything wrong. And then you like your brain develops and you're like, wait a minute, they were used to be a kid too. So
I feel like I'm in a therapy session right now. I'm like,
I know. Okay, so Lise, not to keep it on my question list, but I feel like the girls let us
you have
right
some good ones. No, fire away.
Well, I feel like it's with on the same tone, but can each of you, and this can just be like one example of each, what is something like a specific thing that you wish your parents had done differently? And what is something that like stands out in your mind that like, dang, they did a good job of that considering all they were handling? Like, what's the thing you really wish they could have improved? And what's the thing that you think was done really well? Whoever wants to take it.
I can go for the done well. For both families, I think, being around y'all's family as well, I think mom's always done a great job of just being like, hey, this is us, this is it, and like whatever situation we're in, we're just gonna keep rolling with it. And if you don't like it, that's your problem. But we're here and we're gonna have fun. And this is talking about like just because
You don't like it? Too bad.
We're laughing.
You know what? You know, and just rolling with it and being like, life
Yeah.
has got some different things because we have someone in our family who's different, but we're gonna make it fun and just giggle about it. And I feel like y'all have done that as well. I mean, every time I've been around y'all's family, y'all just seem
When Tanner
Thank you.
first was going to Clemson, his first roommate, Blakely Kress, who's on Love on the Spectrum some, he was his roommate all through. We met them, and they were a family that I felt handles the special needs situation similarly to
similar.
us. Like, and I remember Blakely's mom, her name's Ashley, her saying, "We just handle it like you just put your Down syndrome in your back pocket and
Let's go.
And I was like, oh,
love
that
that.
makes way of phrasing it a lot. When I watched y'all for the first time on Love on the Spectrum, I was like, oh, they put it in their back pocket.
And they go.
Yeah.
I love that.
I love
I
that.
mean, it is what it is. He's here and he's not changing. He literally can't help it. So
Right.
just roll with it.
This is what we are.
Yeah.
Anna, what about you, honey?
I would say like I feel like I can only think of a positive thing right now, which I guess is good. Two things I would say. I think one thing that my mom does like super well is she's just like our biggest like hype woman ever. Like some people have a relationship with their parents where they're criticizing them. Like we literally, like our mom is like, you're the prettiest, smartest, most perfect. Like she thinks we hung the moon and the stars. We definitely did not. Sometimes we suck, but she thinks we're great. So I just feel like very like loved, and like I don't have one of those relationships with my mom. I mean, I can only speak from my perspective, not like Connor's, but like my mom isn't jealous of me, you know, and like you're pretty or this or that, like, and your mom's like kind of hating on you. Like I just have a mom who like thinks I'm the coolest ever, so I get to have that. And then I feel like with both my parents, but especially my mom, I feel like I can talk to her about anything. Like I could like nothing is off limits to just be like, hey, this situation happened. Be like I could come to her with anything. So I feel like that really shaped our relationship. That I feel like I can go tell her something. I'm not afraid to say it. Yeah.
That makes me feel good.
Yeah.
That's so, I love that. Lise, you're a queen. Oh my gosh. You are too. Taylor, what about you?
Something they did really well is kind of same thing. I always felt like I could talk to either one of my parents about anything. Nothing.
Yeah,
Like-
Mark explained menstruation to her in the kitchen over,
Oh my gosh.
over nachos.
And the sex talk and
Yeah.
anything about boys, like it was always me and dad, and turns out he was right. Like
Yeah.
I ended up with exactly who he thought I would, and it was all, you know. But yeah, I've always felt totally open and honest with them about everything. Like not everything's easy to talk about. What did you do wrong?
What did we do?
You know what they did? And I actually, this has been more relevant in recent years when autism has actually become a lot better, but it makes sense looking back how this became a thing. Her talking about them relying on me a lot back in the day, putting a lot of pressure on me, needing me to be really responsible, whatever. One thing my parents do
It's fine.
sometimes,
It's fine.
and they know this, we've talked about this, is they both dump on me sometimes at
Yeah.
the sounding board. Not about autism nowadays, about other things, about their other stressors in life. Just anything. They both come to me, and maybe that established itself, kind of that habit
Probably.
from back in the day. But then it was like, oh, I'm in it too. Like I live in your house. We're all knocking autism out. You know, we're
Right.
gonna get it. But now when they do it, sometimes we've had to have some times where I'm like, hey, I'm married. I'm building my own life.
Right.
I can't talk about your stress with this or
Yeah.
you know.
And that's fair.
And that has been it. But that habit probably,
Yeah.
started because of
Well, like you
100%.
said, you guys were the partnership when
Yeah.
Tanner was younger. Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
And
I
now I'm
feel
like, all right, I'm trying to go partnership over here.
Right.
My Owens household, you guys got to do your own thing now.
no,
Lise,
I feel
what's
like
one off your list? Oh, sorry.
no, I'm just
add-
gonna like
oh,
add to your
I'm
point.
so
Like
sorry.
I feel like if I had a negative thing, it would be like my mom and I, we kind of have like a best friend relationship, and it's like bittersweet a little bit because it's like, yeah, we can laugh and have a good time and like do all the things, but she'll also lean on me sometimes like a best friend, and like through the divorce, through like stresses with money or like like meeting a new boyfriend, like it just felt like sometimes I was like a friend, which like maybe is a kind of weird dynamic as a kid because
Yeah.
you're like, where's the line?
I can see that.
So it's like a good and bad thing being like
I
a
get
best
that.
friend to your mom.
Yeah, I definitely made mistakes. And I think if I did, I like it would be the leaning on her and treating her like that maybe too many times.
I get that
then,
100%.
and then when she feels like that's our relationship and she's clapping back at me in a way that I didn't think she had the right to do, and I corrected it, she was like, wait, it was confusing to her. Like, wait, we're friends
Yeah.
over here, but now you're my mom? Wait, no. You
Right.
know?
And that's very fair. I get that. I get that 100%. That's good.
So let's see. Let's see. One question that I asked, and I'm curious, did having a special needs sibling in your lives affect the way that you interact now or even did back in your school days with other special needs students or classmates at your school or individuals that you meet? Like the fact that you came up with this and you saw it in your community, did it change kind of, did it help the way you interacted?
1,000,000,000%.
Yeah.
I don't want to say we're better people because of it. Like we're just great people. But honestly, anybody who's grown up with a special needs sibling or person in their life, you really are better off for it. It gives you this just
Kindness.
hyper sense of
Patient.
empathy and kindness and understanding.
Mm-hmm.
I never look at if somebody, I don't know, does something weird in public randomly. Like my first thought is never, what the hell was that? It's always, oh, maybe something's going on there that I don't realize, because that's how it was with my own brother all the time.
Yeah.
And that's all I wanted other people to think, when he's squealing and cutting handstands in the middle of a restaurant and asking inappropriate questions. I just wanted people to understand, like, I'm sorry, we can't help it.
I feel like I'm almost more like drawn to people like with special needs in a school environment or an area to be like, hey, like I can vibe, and like make them feel special and that kind of thing. Very comfortable, which I'm grateful for.
And I do. I love. I watch sometimes on your Instagram or is it whatever your social media where I feel like you're in the car with like some Clemson Life students and you're just driving. You're the chauffeur and you got the
I'm
music
literally
going.
their
And,
Uber. Wherever they want to go, they're like, Midge, can you take us? And I'm like, yes, I can. Let's go to
see,
Taco.
like that's what I love. And Anna, what about you?
Yeah, I feel like it truly taught me empathy, understanding, and protectiveness. Like, I will literally ride. I don't care who you are. Like, if someone messes with you, like, I'm gonna be bothered. And like Taylor said, like, if I see any, no, I will. I'll come swinging,
love
and
that.
I have before. But like, yeah, if I see someone in public, like, I feel like I have like the TISM radar. I'm not kidding. Like, I'm just like, oh, and I like immediately feel protective over that person. And if anyone's giving them weird looks, I'm upset. Like, because I'm just growing up with someone like that, you truly understand. And I think what people don't realize, I mean, it's 2025 and there's so many people who genuinely don't know about autism, and they think it just means you're slow, or they don't know all the things that go into that, and they don't understand that it's a spectrum, and that someone who's maybe talking to themselves in public isn't someone cracked out on drugs or like something scary. It's just someone stimming and doing something that feels comfortable to them. And I just think, yeah, it just taught me to be understanding, patient, and to ride for people. Yeah.
I do have to tell a story. It was middle school, and there was a boy on the spectrum who was being bullied, and Anna went to the administration, and they called and they said, and Anna said, these are the kids that are responsible. This is what happened. And the administration had said, well, we won't use your name. And Anna goes, use my name. Tell them that I told on them. Tell them. You can tell them it was me. She's like, because she was like ready
Anna
to take them off.
Tomlinson.
They were like, we'll beat the street. She's like, no, tell them it was me.
I
But
love
I mean,
it.
that was her in middle school, defending this boy. And in fact, the parents were so moved. I think he brought you a little present.
Yeah.
Because she really took up for this kid.
I
So,
love
I
it.
mean, and I kind of was a leading question, but I just wanted to see, it is nice to see, and even as adults, if you're in public, that you're comforting and like you're the Uber driver.
I love
I love it.
I love it.
Okay, Nikki, what else do you have?
Okay. All right. Here's one. Have you all, any of the three of you, and that's fine if the answer is no, has it crossed your mind or been like a fear or a worry that you might become a mother to a special needs child yourself?
And I say that not because I'm scared to have a kid with autism, not because I wouldn't love them just the same, because I worry that I wouldn't be able to do as good of a job as she did. Like, that's genuinely like my fear is like, what would I do? And I'm like, I would literally be like, here, help me. Like, that's what I genuinely, that's living life.
Oh, that's so sweet. I'm more like selfish in my answer if I'm like, no, like I don't, it scares me to have a child with a special need just because I know how time consuming it is and just like, changes your world. So it's definitely crossed my mind, but it hasn't like, not in a sense that I don't want to have kids. Like, I know that I could do it and I know that I have family around me that could help me and stuff. It has like made me very aware of like who I choose as a life partner in a sense of
Yes.
like they need to be aware that like forever you're gonna have to like be down to like help care for this person, you know?
No. Oh, that
So
I feel that on a spiritual level. I like every person I've dated, I'm like, we're a package deal, me and Connor. And if you can't handle that, because if anything happens to my parents, like he's gonna be with us. So
mm,
figure it out. And if they're not accepting, if they make any ignorant, like you're gone from my life
you're out.
immediately. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
See ya.
Yeah.
bring us your
That's
tour.
kind of our rule too. Like if a guy cannot handle Tanner's little, eccentricities and all that, like he's out. He's
Yeah.
gone.
A guy, a friend, anybody.
Right. If anybody gives Tanner the weird eyeball, we're like, you're no fun. Leave.
Yeah.
Some love.
What about you, Taylor? Have you thought about that?
Definitely. And it is equally as scary as I feel equally terrified of that. And also, I would feel very prepared too. Like, I mean, I don't know if that happened and we had a child with some sort of disability. I can't lie and say that I wouldn't be disappointed. I would, because I know that it is.
It's harder.
It is.
It's
And then
harder.
that makes me think, oh, is that bad that I feel that way after Tanner's had such success? But it's not, because it would be. You do, even though our lives and y'all's lives specifically, like it's turned out to be a really cool thing and a really great thing, overall in the long run. But there's still the reality that it is a real
It's hard.
disappointment and a hard thing at first, and you still miss out on a lot, even now with all this
Yes, wow.
success and cool stuff that's happened in our lives and in Tanner and Connor's lives now. There's still those hard memories and those times that they did miss out on a lot and still do, and
Yeah.
that is a fact. But I would also feel very prepared, and
Right.
feel like I know we could do it. But it definitely, it wouldn't be like, yippee-ki-yay, woohoo, this is
Right.
great, this is
No,
fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think it's
but
also a
you would be,
scary
and
thing because like I would worry for the child because I know what I had to see my brother experience and like I wouldn't want that for anybody. Like it's kids are mean. So
So my kids were in public school in Metro Atlanta, and I mean, it's just where it was, and they were very big schools. And Anna and Jack, because we ended up holding Connor back, Anna and Ben were only 1 year apart from Connor in school, so they crisscrossed him in the high school hallways. They were in lunches with him, they were in classes with him, and they could see some of the looks and the treatment that he was getting.
Aw.
And I think that was really hard on them.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Let's see. Do we have I have kind of a cool question. What did having Connor or Tanner as a brother teach you? What have you learned from them that's maybe unexpected?
Everybody's like,
I mean, so much. Like, so he's shaped my entire life. So I'm just like, okay. Tay, you go. I bet you got good stuff. Come on.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, I feel the same way. It's changed our whole lives. Like, we're completely different people than we would have been
Yeah.
without Tanner and
We say that all the time. Do y'all ever say that? Like, who would we be if
Yeah.
Tanner was just 26, if he'd graduated, college with a degree and, was outlet, who would we all be? Because we don't even know who we are without autism.
We'd
Yeah.
probably be a little bitchier, to be honest. We probably would be. We would be. We
Yeah.
would be.
Might
We
be a
would
little more
not be.
boring.
I don't think
Yeah,
we
way
would
more
work
I
nice.
know a lot less about dragons. I'll say that.
Yeah. Let's
We would know a lot less about Mighty Joe Young.
And like,
Yeah.
A lot less.
One
I
thing that
just-
he's
just-
taught me. Oh, get it.
Yeah.
Go.
No, Midge, tell us. What does he tell you?
One thing he's taught me the past couple years, just like watching him up in Clemson and now that he's famous and all this stuff, like the way he interacts with people and he remembers their names, and when he speaks to someone, he's all there. And I just like love to watch him. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like short little interactions that I have in my day, like impact people incredibly. And so he's taught me that, watching him do that and seeing how much people like are obsessed with him and they feel loved by him and they feel like they want to hang out with him because he gives him their full attention and he's like truly is got that like childlike joy when he's in front of you. So watching him do that has made me want to do that more.
And he makes people feel amazing.
Oh, he does. He's like human sunshine.
Yeah.
He
He's like,
is.
what do we call, he's like a dopamine rush.
Oh my gosh, he really is.
Yeah.
Like, I'm having a bad day. I just want to hang out with Tanner.
He's just great. One of the things I think the reason I thought about this is because Connor, you know, my husband says it all the time. I mean, we're all in this house. We still have a lot. And Connor, he just looks, he goes, he is the happiest guy. And I think when we look at Connor, at least for me, I've tried to learn like look at the bright side of things, or just like, you know, don't sweat the small stuff. He's so happy. He just doesn't let it in to stress him out. I mean, for the most part, I mean, he have dysregulation and with his rigidity and things, but overall life is good for Connor. And we're all over here wringing our hands over what? And, you know, and it's like, Tony's like, he's the happiest dude under this roof. Like, I wish I was Connor, you know?
We
But
say
does
that
Connor-
all the time. What about you, Anna?
Has he taught you anything?
I mean, we've kind of touched on like just that it teaches you empathy and all those things, but I feel like it also teaches you not to discount someone just because they're different and what they're capable of. Like, I remember watching a commercial. I don't know if it was like a Super Bowl commercial or what, but it was a girl with Down syndrome, and it was like, don't assume I can't drink a margarita because then I won't. Because then you don't enable someone, like the same way your parents raise you to ride a bike and do all those things. If you just assume someone with autism can't do it, well, are you ever going to give them the resources and the tools that you give the neurotypical kid? So I think like Connor, even his growth since being on the show, like I don't think I ever even imagined.
Oh, did we just lose your audio?
Oh, I can't hear them either.
All of a sudden, I can't hear y'all.
Lise, can you hear us, Lise?
Can she hear us?
And I'm curious about.
Was
Or
it?
she's
Did it
back.
pause?
Yeah, all of a
did it
sudden, we
pause?
couldn't hear you for the last couple
Oh, you know what?
sentences.
Somebody was calling my.
Where did it cut out?
When Anna was talking.
Right at
Oh,
the end
no.
of what
Oh,
Anna was
God.
saying.
So, well, Jacob can edit.
Okay.
Jacob
well,
can edit.
well,
Yes,
I'm sorry, doesn't make any sense. So where did I like leave?
Where did it? Do you know what? You know what? My phone started ringing,
Anna was
so I
saying
think.
how he taught her to not discount people and
Not
have
to
fun.
discount.
Yeah. Yeah.
Long story short, I think I didn't even realize all that he could be capable of in the last year, and he's just grown a lot. So I think that's kind of what he's taught me.
And never
Mind-blowing.
write somebody
Yeah.
off.
So I think that's a good thing for parents and siblings out there, that like just because you have a sibling or a son, daughter, etc. on the spectrum or a disability, like they can still do so much. So like don't count them out.
Yeah, I love that.
Talking about not writing somebody off, Tanner, one thing I love about him, and I remember this, when we were in college, Clemson is amazing. Clemson University as a whole, with the way they handle the Clemson Life kids. They're so involved in the campus and all over the whole town of Clemson. But Dabo Sweeney, the head football coach, they always do like a football camp kind of day
Practice, yeah.
with the Clemson Life students, and they get to go hang out with them and like run drills and do all this fun stuff and meet the players. And the first time Tanner got to go do it his freshman year, I remember we went, and it was like Dabo, who is a big deal to a lot of he's a big deal to us. We're Clemson fans.
Yeah.
And it was when Trevor Lawrence was there, and and we met them, and Tanner had no clue who they were. I mean,
He
just
could have cared less.
could have cared less. And I mean that in a nice way. Like, I love Dabo. Trevor's a really nice guy. But I almost loved it that he didn't know who they were.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God. And I remember thinking, we had just gone like out to eat before, and the random person who was our waiter at the restaurant,
And he's like,
treats him the same as Dabo Sweeney. They are not different
love
caliber people in his mind. And I love that.
Yeah.
Love that so much. The only person Tanner would probably think is above and beyond anybody else is Jack Black.
Jack Black.
That's who,
Jack Black, if you're listening.
No, that's
Yeah,
why I feel like
He would knock you over in the street to get to
I
Jack
think
Black.
that's
He
the
would.
only- yeah. But even like
No, that's
now,
why I
getting
feel
how
like
he's gotten
Connor and
all the
Tanner,
experience
like-
and meet all these people, like he doesn't think any of them are any better than, and they're not. That's what's so cool.
right.
Is you know, we're all equal. I don't know.
Yeah,
that's why I feel
he
like
does
Connor
teach
and Tanner are like the perfect people to have a platform.
Yes.
Like in this like age of social media, there's just
Yes.
so many people that just care way too much about like I have this many followers, all these things. Like I remember Connor had a video that like I think it was the most popular one that had like 15 million views. And I was like, Connor, like 15 million people saw this. And he's like, cool. Like he's just like, cool. And it's just like I just think that's so beautiful because it's like they're not doing this for the wrong reasons. They don't even care. Like they like
Connor's
I mean
like-
they're helping people, but it's just
He looks up like, yeah, but did you know that such and such dragon? Yeah.
on this date in 2004.
If you read the Fourth Wing series, new book.
Yes. So
I
I have
love
a question because I know as parents and as a mom, I struggled with this personally of just like and it put some rifts with some of my friends for a little while, even if they didn't know there was a rift. It was a rift for me. Like we had kids together, like Connor and so we had them together, and then I get diagnosed, and their kids neurotypical, and their kids doing basketball camps and this and that, and I'm doing therapy, and I got to where I felt like ugh, like mad and jealous. And then when someone got their license or went to prom or did every milestone my friends whose kids were Connor's age made, just I got just admit I was jealous, I was angry, I was mad. As siblings, as kids, did you ever look to other families that maybe had all neurotypical children, and did you ever feel like your life was different as compared to if you even did anything like that? Maybe I'm assigning my own stuff. I'm just curious.
Yeah, I have a very specific memory. I guess it just worked out this way in our town. There's several people who were in my class in high school who have siblings 2 grades below, which is where Tanner would have been if he would have been typical, and gone to our school. And the year after I graduated high school, so I'm a freshman in college, our high school's football team, varsity football team, went to the state playoffs and did really well.
They won.
Did they win?
They won.
I remember we went to Columbia and they played at that college
Yeah.
stadium. And I remember like one of my best dearest friends, Liz, her brother was on that state champion team, and it was so exciting. And I was so excited for them.
And he and Tanner are the same age.
But I remember thinking, damn, if Tanner was typical, he would have been on this freaking state championship.
He'd have a state ring.
He'd have a
Yeah.
state ring, and I'd be sitting here watching my brother, with
Yeah.
my best friend, who I love to death, and I'm so happy for her and for her little brother Ford. But I kind of wish Tanner was out there too.
Yeah.
Okay. That's thanks for sharing that. That's pretty personal one. Did you
But
ever
now
think
Tanner's on Netflix, so
I know, right?
so like
He's got a Clemson life ring.
a
right now.
ring and he's got an Emmy, so I mean,
yeah.
now Tanner's on an Emmy, so.
Mitch, have you ever felt any kind of way or anything like that?
I didn't necessarily look to other families and feel jealous just because, I mean, I had the perfect childhood and I love our family and our life and everything. I did have that feeling of like, dang, I was 2 years behind Tanner. Would that be right, Mom?
Yeah.
I was 2 years behind, so I'm like, dang, like my brother could have been in that grade. I could have been dating all his friends. I'd have been that girl. Like a little bit, I had a couple of those thoughts, but it was always just the norm. And Tank was like so celebrated in our town. So he kind of like was his own thing too.
Oh,
So
that's
no,
good.
like, I don't know. I didn't
Yeah,
feel
we're
too.
A bigger
when y'all were
town, so
talking about-
Connor. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. When y'all were talking about like growing up in Atlanta, it's such a bigger place.
We
and
didn't
so many more
have
people, and I think that was just something that was different about our family's experiences. We're in such a small place. We went to a small private school.
Yeah.
Our dad has lived on this property since he was born. I mean, his whole life. So everybody in our town knew Tanner, and everybody in our town kind of rallied around, and that was just kind of
it was a gift.
Yeah.
It was. That's amazing. Because I mean, we have, it's a very transient here. People change and move in and out, and it's busy. And we didn't have that. Well, I mean, small town ish, but it was different.
yeah. I feel like I never. Sounds crazy, but like I never once considered him not being the way he is. Like that. That sounds like a perfect like answer. Like I genuinely, I think one time someone asked the question, like, if your brother could have been born like not autistic, like, would you have wished that for him? And I genuinely like, no, because I just don't think that would be my brother. Like, I can't picture him any other way. And I like never even compared him to anyone else. And I was like grateful that he like, which that sounds like, I don't know, but that's
No, it's amazing, Anna. It's amazing. It's beautiful.
That's my
Yeah.
guy. Nikki, I'm kind of like most of they've kind of answered in flow some of my other stuff. So you have what else do you have?
I mean, they really, honestly, because you guys did such a good job, and I feel like you're also articulate and well spoken. I mean, I didn't directly ask them these questions, but they answered them. You know what I mean? Within the thing. Well, I'm going to say something, get a little mushy as a mom. I really mean this from the bottom of my heart. Like looking at the three of you from the perspective of a almost 53-year-old woman who's raised 4 kids, y'all will not really understand until you're mothers yourselves what a gift you are. I mean, like to be the kind of sisters that you are. And and Anna, I've seen you do it with Connor, you don't even know you're doing it. But when I watch my girls, and I've seen Anna do it in airports, wherever, like kind of just instinctively mother their brothers. And I mean, it's especially mentioned, Anna, I mean, he's your big brother. I mean, technically he should be protecting you, and you're like kind of leading, kind of supporting, and doing it without also making him feel bad about it. It's just the most beautiful thing.
Beautiful.
And it means it is such a comfort to Lisa and I as mothers to know that there are other women in the world that love him just as much as we do, and that will protect him and nurture him and care for him. Because you'll know when you hold your own little babies, you know, how much you feel for them. And just to know that, man, the other children I birthed love him this much. It's just, it's the most overwhelming feeling for me. Like that washes over me sometimes that I'm watching it. And I'm like, these girls are freaking amazing. They are the best. You just don't find that. So I am so grateful to y'all. And not only are you guys beautiful and smart, but what you have gained from being a special needs sibling, you're going to be great moms. All of you.
Thanks, Mom.
Thanks.
You are. You're going to be
Always.
amazing.
I'm like gonna cry. I know it's
Well, no, but you are. All of you are going to be amazing mothers. I have no doubt about it.
Well, and our parents, you two, and our dads obviously did something right too, because I know can speak for all of my siblings on this, and I know, knowing the Tomlinsons, that they feel this way too. We really actually like our siblings. Like, I know people that don't, that are not that tight with their siblings, you know, especially as adults, but us and the Tomlinson kids, from what I know, I mean, we really do like each other and hang out and laugh our asses off together, and like just you know, and we really, I want the people to know this too. We are really friends. Our family and
really
y'all,
like you.
Yeah.
we really do like each
actually
other.
like you.
This is not just for the pod. We hang out when we can, and like I remember like when I first met Jack and Anna and Connor and me were the all and Tanner were all the kids that went to California last July, and that was the first time we had ever met in person, other like us siblings besides just Tanner and Connor, and it was just instant. Like, I mean, within
So
30
fun.
minutes
So
in the
easy.
airport,
You and Jack were fighting.
we're like, yeah, me and Jack like fighting about something, and it's like helping Tanner, like he's her, like we're all just like. I remember when we got to California, all the people there that we met that were like working with Tanner and Connor said to us, "Oh, you guys just met? We literally met in the airport on the way here." They were shocked that
We left and we had like matching hoodies. We were like back.
yeah.
I just and I want to wrap it up on a note, and it was something because you know Nikki and I said earlier in the podcast that a lot of the younger moms come to us, and you know, Nikki, I saw a comment today that said something about you know us. There's no support for parents of adult special needs adults or autistic adults and we're all out here free flying, and I was like, gosh, no truer words have been spoken. So she's like, I'm here for whatever you two are going to bring because I want to hear this. But I want you guys, if you can, let's go back to those younger families for a minute in our minds, and they're listening to this and they've got their special needs child and they've got the siblings there, and what message could you give them, or you know, to what message would you give them to say, you know, as a sibling of a special needs child, give them to put them at ease? What advice would you give them?
Love that.
It's gonna be hard,
God,
but it's gonna be okay.
Yeah, Anna, you go.
Oh, no, you got it, girl.
Okay. I think for me, like Tanner's part of my story is what pushed me towards the Lord. So if I'm giving advice for someone who's a sibling, for me, like my whole testimony is that like I felt like second place, and then I found Jesus. Like I grew up in a Christian family and stuff, and then when I was a sophomore in high school, and I'm like fell in love with Jesus because I'm like I'm his number one, and like we all are. So for me, I'm like lean on the Lord and let your struggles there and your hurt. The Lord's like the only person or the only place that I ran to that I'm like I feel completely seen and completely loved and all that, you know. So I would say lean on the Lord and let anything, the celebration, the great and the hard, push you closer to Him.
I love that.
I love that. It's beautiful. No, that really, we got to follow after that.
What would you say to these siblings?
Okay, so I'm speaking to the siblings.
Siblings and the parents, whatever.
I don't know. I just feel like kind of understand that even on the hard days, like I feel like it genuinely is such a blessing. Like sometimes I fully like used to believe as a kid that like Connor was like an angel that was like literally sent down to earth. Like I really, but like I feel like he teaches how to just love like unconditionally, and he like how he's always so happy. Like I think he's just like the best of what like a human being could be. So I think like being around that, understand that it's like literally one of the best blessings in life you could have is to like be a sibling to somebody like Connor or Tanner or anyone else. So I feel like just even though there's hard days, like overall, I feel like I'm a better person because of it. And I think like I wouldn't be me without him. So yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
It's gonna be okay, moms and dads.
Can I add one more thing?
Please.
I feel like
These parents want to hear from you guys.
like both of our families' perspectives, though it was very hard. Like I have friends who have siblings with special needs who are like nonverbal and like they are their parents like work and they are at home and like can't go to school sometimes. So I don't want to like bounce over the fact that like Tanner and Connor are very high functioning and like very not easy, but in a sense compared to some other families with special needs.
Yes.
So not a piece of advice, but like find somebody who either you can talk to or who has been in a similar situation, because all of us have said that we felt like a little bit overshadowed or we felt like we had to care for them. So like finding somebody who you can talk to, like Taylor was that person for me, I feel like, just because she's my sister and I could talk to her about it. But for those who have it in a different way, like finding people to vent to, because your life matters too. And like your problems, even though I mean, they're valuable and
Last
have
child, like
value.
you need to be seen. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
You need to be seen. You do.
That's one other thing that I think this life with an autistic sibling has given us too. And we just also happen to have two moms here who are just good at talking and being real with you and are big cheerleader. You called your mom a cheerleader a little while ago. You know, like Nikki is just like that too.
Who's that?
Just, I don't know. I want to tell people, even though I know, and it's part of it's just like based on your personality. Some people don't open up as easily, but talk to each other and the people around you. Like I never felt maybe overlooked, because even though mom spent a lot of time worried about Tanner, she also regularly told me, "You're awesome. You're a badass. You're crushing it. I love you." Or like, "This is hard," or "This is," and like our whole family, all six of us, have always been very honest with each other and able to talk, even to say, "You're doing awesome. I really admire you." I feel like that now when I spend time around y'all's family too. Like Lise will sit there and say, "You are so fabulous. You are just crushing it. I admire this." It's so important.
It is so important.
Well, how you feel,
Yes.
even if you don't have, even if you're not dealing with a special need, but especially then, and it just kind of it connects you in a way that it's just a little extra
Keep talking.
tie. Yeah.
And I would say also find what's funny. I think both our families do a really good job
Yes.
of having a really
Finding the
lighthearted
humor.
attitude.
Yeah.
And we can poke fun at them. They can poke, and it's, and it keeps it light, man. You have to laugh because they're funny.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
we know it's okay though.
You're also, it's like,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, they're literally like your siblings. So if people think that we still don't have a normal sibling relationship where we fight and we bicker and like we say things at each other, like we totally do. Like, especially when we're doing stuff for social media, I'm like,
Totally.
Connor, like, and we're like,
And you know, that's funny because your brother said that last night. Yeah, like, you know, Connor may be on the spectrum,
But we don't
but he's
ba-
still our brother.
yeah, we don't baby him. Like he gets it the same as everyone else.
Yeah, and they said that they're like, you know, he's a human, he's not perfect, and we're still gonna do brotherly stuff with him and pick on him and tease him, and yeah, but it's all love.
They were so cute.
Well, I thank you girls so much. I mean, and I just think that,
Yes.
you know, I hope, you know, somebody out there heard something that they can help them. And I want moms and dads now, after you get through the sibling episodes, because we had to break it in two because Nikki and I have so many kids. You know, that the takeaway from these is that, yes, I want the younger parents to look forward. This is 20 years plus of where you're standing. And I cried endless nights into my pillowcase about not only Connor, but how am I shorting my other three, and just felt like a failure more days than I did felt like, you know, I was doing something positive. So I was really hard on myself, and there were some lonely, thankless years that I spent. And if someone could have just tapped me on the shoulder and showed me a glimpse of not even love on the spectrum, forget love on the spectrum, pretend it didn't happen. I could still, and I'd be sad I wouldn't have you guys in my life, but I could look at my other three and go, wow, it is okay. So try to take that and tuck that under your pillow tonight when you're about to cry, because I was there with you.
Yeah. 100%. 100%. I think this is a beautiful, hopeful example of what's possible, even when you're in the thick of it and you can't see it. Just, it is possible.
So
You got this.
with that, I think it's a time to say thank you, ladies, for your time this evening. And Nikki, you know what we always say, right?
I know what we say. We say, love you, mean it.
Love you, mean it. Okay. Thanks, everybody. And can't wait to have you for the next episode. All right. Bye.